Hello and welcome to Andy and Ian Talk Networking. I am Andy
And I'm Ian.
and we are back, Ian. I'm back, you're back, everyone's back. It's just great to be stuck in a non-air conditioned building and sweating my backside off just so we can have a chat and talk about interesting stuff.
Well, as you can see, I'm also back, but I'm also sitting out here on my deck. It's fantastic. It's a lovely
Ah,
day here.
yeah,
Perfect.
lovely day. So you've definitely got a similar kind of weather, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably more hot and sweaty than you are right now.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
anyway.
So I'm back. You're back. We haven't had a chat for a few weeks. And I saw you did a really interesting discussion with Eric while I was away, which was really good. And yeah, hopefully you guys will be able to see that on the playlist very soon, or it should have been
Uh,
in there last week. But yeah, it's yeah, really interesting discussion. But I want to go one step beyond that. Now I'm back. Now I'm kind of getting my feet back under the table, and I want to talk about network observability and the integrations that are required to turn your network observability tool into a full network administration and observability, dashboard and infrastructure. So I think that's kind of where I want to go today. And for me, kind of one of the things that I think we need to be considering when people are looking at network observability and how they get access to the data is that integration with third parties. There are a lot of tools out there, and you and I can talk about a number of those, but there are a lot of tools out there where a lot of net admins kind of live their day to day. And when you look at the use cases, you need to be able to integrate and work with those tools. So let's start with kind of there and kind of get your feedback on kind of customers you've seen and kind of where you see a lot of those integrations.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Andy. The point is that customers are using a whole suite of different, and they're almost platforms.
Yeah,
They're not usually maybe they call them tools,
yeah, they're
but
not one
re,
block. Yeah,
yeah, they're really a lot of different aspects being brought together. And I think the other bit that we're always trying to kind of strike the balance on is a lot of these tools or platforms are consuming um consuming data to some degree or other,
yeah,
right? The point is that as we've continued to highlight in this little chat, and I know this isn't usually cPacket, 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 but the point is that we do have a lot of data, right? So
yeah,
trying to make sure that we're getting the right level of data into these platforms so that people in a NetOps or SecOps role aren't being overwhelmed with the amount of
yes,
data,
yeah,
at least for the normal operating concepts. And then as something happens, to make sure that a trigger, a piece of
yeah.
information, a ticket, I mean, depends on the platform, depends on what it might be, but get that to the person in the tool that they're using, and then make the make that more detailed data which is required for investigating network related issues and make it available to them kind of live. This is
Yeah.
what it's going to be. So yeah, it's a huge area, Andy. It's definitely one. The days of always, I'm just being very clear to use that word, always using the vendor tool interface, it's certainly changing. I
Yeah,
think the point is people don't have
we went
the
in
the
multiple
time
places. Yeah,
or motivation to do that. They want something.
yeah,
They want something that's in their standard tool. So yeah, it's a really interesting subject.
yeah. And I think it's interesting because what you summed there is they want the incident, they want the ticket, they want an action. Again, if you remember some of the discussions we've had about the size of some of these networks and the amount of data, you
Yeah.
can't push all of that into the likes of a ServiceNow or a Datadog. You're dealing with hundreds of gigabits of data coming from many ports and interfaces and services. It's just impossible to push all of that data into a third party service. They would just be charging you millions of dollars a month just to ingest and store that data. So you need to analyze the data in real time on every port at full line speed as we've talked about. But then it's prioritizing the bits that matter that you then forward. Is it snapshots? Is it sampled? Is it just the metadata? Is it just the incident? So having the observability tool that can do that first level pre-inspection and prioritization is really important, and then flagging that into those tools. So yeah, I think you're right with a lot of these kind of observability integrations with these third-party platforms, as you say. It's all about getting the right data to them that they can then action and deal with. And when I look at the integrations with like ServiceNow, Datadog, Splunk, and a lot of these other kind of platforms that are out there, there are different levels of the data that you can ingress into those platforms. So incidents is a great example where pretty much everybody starts. So I've detected a problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me now use their APIs or push that information into a third-party platform so that when the NetOps, SecOps teams comes in the morning, they have a complete single dashboard that says these are all the problems in your network. This is what
Yeah.
you need to be dealing with now. And then it's how do we get the next level of information to them to allow them to debug it. Now that might be download a pcat file. So it could be as simple as, here's a link to a pcat file that you download and now you can go and dig into. Or it might
Yes.
be, some metadata that allows them to see a graph or pull up some data or a stream of packets that have been sent in for analysis. So yeah, I think this is kind of where the integrations level really becomes more unified. It's understanding what those tools are, but then understanding what data they need to be able to integrate and analyze.
Yeah, no, it's I know we're kind of talking around a lot of the same things. I think the point being is that you do need to have you you the NetOps SecOps team member needs to work with partners who are going to provide you the comprehensive data when you need it,
Yeah,
so that you can really be able to very quickly investigate an issue in whatever part of the network that you might be
yeah,
struggling with. And I think that's really critical. That's the question that you need to ask as a NetOps or SecOps team member. Will this integrate? Will this provide me, in the event of a critical issue, the deep data that
yeah,
I need to be able to actually action and to be able to find out what's going on,
yeah,
And as I know we've joked about before, it's not always the network.
yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
always the
Yeah,
network, but as often a network person or a network focused person, who'd be listening to a video like this, they need to be able to have the data to say, yep, we've looked at this, it's on me, but actually more often than not it's on something else
yeah,
running in that infrastructure. And if you can bring that all into a central place, central platform, I think that's a really powerful message
yeah.
when you're going through that buying cycle.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think the other thing that brings it interesting, which kind of brings back to your discussion you had with Eric, is how is this going to evolve over time? So today
Mm,
when we talk about integrations, really, with a lot of the times we're talking about packet transfers and
mhm.
API integrations to kind of get information out there. But as AI starts getting involved and large language models and MCP and all these kind of new agentic AI approaches start to happen, that again changes the way that you integrate with these external tools. And I think that was a really interesting discussion, that you and Eric had about how that's going to evolve, and just the work that I've seen that we're doing, that really shows the power that these kind of AI tools are going to bring to a lot of these diagnostics and debugging capabilities.
Yeah, and I think you've just highlighted about six extra Andy and Ian Talk
Absolutely,
Networking
yeah,
kind of sessions. So we're definitely giving people a kind of hint of that. But certainly, certainly it's a question that's well asked, and it's certainly one that people want to know the answer to.
yeah,
There's lots and lots of hype. There's lots and lots of tools, apparently, which do a lot of this stuff. The question is to keep asking the vendors and to say, hey, show me more,
yeah,
show me more. What does this really mean for me? And certainly from our cPacket's perspective, we've done a lot of things there, and there's a lot of videos on our
yeah.
rest of our YouTube site which talk about these things. So
I
anyway,
was I
as
was
I
going to
say,
say
it's
actually we've actually done some demonstrations of large language model integrations that we did for
yeah,
security field day and network field day, which kind of
yeah,
demonstrate the way that this is going. So again, I encourage everybody to go and find those and watch those videos because they are really informative. For somebody who was playing with AI many years ago, how it's evolved now, and just the simple ability to just say, tell me there's a problem in my network, and it goes off
yeah.
and it reaches out and finds everything. It's really powerful.
Absolutely. Anyway, before we get too far away or we get into Andy's intelligence, that AI model, right? That's kind of
Or lack of.
anyway.
Yep.
Uh, so the integrations piece, I think it's worth just asking questions. It's worth probing a little bit more,
Yep.
making sure that the right data is going to be sent into that platform so that you NetOps SecOps team member are able to make important decisions quickly and efficiently so that you can solve any issues that do come up. And certainly that's a really important thing to kind of ask those questions
Yep.
of your vendors, including us. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks very much, Ian. I think good conversation as always. Looking forward to doing the next one very soon. And yeah, I'd just like, as always, to invite everybody to like and subscribe down below. Always important. Good to get notifications when we make these videos and drop them. Hopefully, you can all reach out to us on LinkedIn and drop comments in below again if you have specific topics or things that you want Ian and myself to talk about. We're always here to do that. So once again, thanks everybody for watching. I have been Andy.
I've been Ian.
Thanks again. See you all again soon.
Bye for now.